So the other day I was in the shower and I had a flashback from childhood, 15 years old, teenagehood. And so what I'm sharing, going to share with you, just like I put in the subject line, it's deep, it's personal, and there may be, it's a little bit of a trigger warning for some, maybe. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there, but I'm going to share something with you. So at 15 years old, I tried to kill myself. I'm going to come back to the image I had in the bathroom or the shower related to that in a second. And I'm not going to go into the gory details, but I did almost die. And was only by the grace of God that I'm alive today. God was like, no, you have way more to do and way more people to support and heal. And no, you're not. It's your time is not up. Um, but 15 was the worst year of my life, worse than when my dad died. It was a dark night of the soul on steroids. I was literally alone, except for my grandmother, who was checked out on alcohol and whatever, probably pills. I was in a new place. It was awful. I was alone and I felt alone and it was terrible. And I didn't want to live anymore. At that time, I didn't want to live anymore. So I thought, okay, I can't take another second of this. But it didn't work. Oh, thank God. And so what happens when you tend to take your own life? After your hospital stay, you're put into a mental hospital so that they can monitor you for a few days to make sure that you're not going to go do it again. How is 4 or 5 days going to cure you in a mental hospital? It's beyond me. I lied my way out of it because I didn't feel any different from the moment I went in there, like literally zero difference. But so the flashback that I had uh, of me in the shower when I was in the shower was at the mental hospital, and I was in a group with other teenagers. There was about 10 of us who had all attempted, we all had attempted our own lives. Like I remember there was a man with like a teenager boy with marks around his neck from trying to hang himself. And there were other people too, but he really stood out to me. But this is what I remembered in the shower that is really fucked up. Um, I remember that there was a really pretty girl in the group. Granted, she was there because she had tried to kill herself. We were all there because we had tried to kill ourselves. But there was a really pretty girl in the group, and she was really open and she shared a lot. I did not. I was very shy and I was very shut down, very shut down. I was like a scared bird, like traumatized. So anyway, I noticed as I was sitting in the circle where I projected that I noticed, or I made up that I noticed that I thought people liked her better than they liked me. I was always looking for signs of rejection. And the reality is, she actually was talking. So people paid attention to her. But the whole time I was sitting in that circle at 15, I was focused on her. I was jealous of her. And I thought, I'm not like her. I'm not good enough. No one wants to talk to me. And I looked for evidence of rejection like that for years. Years. Like I would be in a, like, for example, like standing and talking to somebody in a group. And if they didn't look at me as much as they looked at the other person, or I perceived it or made it up, or it was in my own head. And I was like, they don't like me. They're not respecting me. They don't like me. They don't like me. They don't like me. Oh, they just looked at them more than me. That's where my head was. Not listening to what they had to say, not being in my heart, not nothing. It was like, am I being rejected? I was constantly looking for evidence that I was being rejected. And guess what? I found it. And guess what? I created it too, over and over and over again, so that I could continue to feed my story and my wounding that I wasn't good enough and I was rejectable. I fed that story, and the fact is that's how I was set up in this life. 100%. As a little kid, I was rejected. All of that stuff was real. But as I grew up into adulthood, I kept looking for it. And at 15, I looked for it. And granted, I give myself compassion. It was all of those things. But 15, it went on for a long freaking time. Until, of course, until I started doing deep work, until I started going onto my healing path and realizing and being in control of my mind and my thoughts and doing the healing work that I have been on since I was 28 years old. And every time I did something for myself that was healing and move myself forward, I would get better, feel better and better and better and better and better. And I am incredibly, incredibly proud of the woman that I am today. So proud. I built this, like built it myself with the help of practitioners and teachers and teams and friends, but I built me. And some days I'm like, okay, the model needs a little readjustment, or I need a little like tune up, or there's a dark, cloudy room in this thing that I built. What am I going to do about it? So I'm continuously always working and always bettering myself, always. And I don't think I'll ever stop doing that. So what I want you to take away from this video today is there or a place where you're still looking for evidence that you feel something is not true about you, good about you, or you're failing? For example, if you have a place of scarcity, money scarcity, are you looking for that scarcity in other places? If you are not in a relationship and you want to be, where are you looking for evidence that you're not good at being in relationships? Where are you? And I see this a lot. They just, relationships don't work out for me, blah, 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 blah. All excuse, and looking for evidence. I've tried and it doesn't work out. And so looking for evidence that they're not good in relationship. Looking for evidence that you're in scarcity, looking for evidence that people don't like you, looking for evidence that you're not going to be successful, looking for evidence, because when we continue to look for evidence that something is not adding up or aligning and that we want, you're gonna find it. And here's the thing. We are so good at projecting. We are so good at placing, oh my God, we are so good at we're good at the story, making up the story. And here's another place where people are looking for evidence right now. People are looking for evidence that the world is not working, that the president is failing, that this is failing, that is failing, the weather's failing. Well, the media sets us up to look for evidence that things outside of ourselves, we need to be scared and are not working. So people are doing that all the time. That's what that is. And then we collaborate the evidence. Oh, did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Right? But we're not being trained to look for the evidence of what's working, what's good, what's working in your life, what's working in the world, because there is a lot of things that are working and there are a lot of things that are good. Because there really are. And when we start to look for the evidence of what's good and what's right, things start to change and turn around. I am absolute proof. I feel like that memory came to me in the shower of that sitting there I was so wounded, but I had a pattern of looking for evidence for people to reject me. I see it with the horses, with the horse healing retreats that I do. At the very beginning, when people show up and they get paired up with their horse, they look for evidence. Oh, he doesn't like me. He backed away from me. He's not listening to me. And there's evidence there. They've had evidence in the past that people don't listen to them. So they project it on the horse when it's like, no, you got to shift your energy. What's going on? Maybe he just needed something to eat, or maybe this and that. Or if he's not listening to you, how do you shift? How do you show up? So it's really, really fascinating. And by the third day, that evidence is starting to dissipate and it's gone. It's like, oh my God, I was taught so much about the places where I'm looking in my life where people don't show up for me or things don't happen in the way that ... It's the same with the guides and the shamanic journey. They will teach you about the ways that you are looking for evidence that something isn't working or something that you're not getting. So a lot of why people stay in scarcity, looking for evidence that they're scarcity, right? So that's what I want to leave you with today, is to begin to look. If you're doing that, begin looking for things that are working in your life. And if you do feel like, well, the scarcity thing is real, or you know what, I'm not in a relationship and I want to be, where do you get to go? Where do you get to shift? Where do you get to grow to create what you want in your life? Trust me, I don't have everything I want, but I know that when I'm ready, I'm going to create it. I'm going to get it. I just know it. I didn't used to know it, but I know it now because I've seen proof that when I show up, when I shift, when I heal, when I step in my power, and when I ask for what I deserve, need, or want, it may not be manifested overnight, but it will come. I am living proof, living the proof. I didn't tell you all my story, but it would blow your mind. Well, maybe you won't. I don't know. Maybe you have a similar story than I do, but it was really hard, really, really hard. Everything was stacked up against me. Everything. Every step of the way. Losing my parents by the time I was 5. And then I can go on and on and on. I mean, everything was stacked up against me. It was like boom, boom, boom. And I had to make a choice. I decided at 28, wake the fuck up, Beth. Like, if you continue down this road, you're going to be a miserable, alone, and broke. And here's another thing. I see a lot of people who have it all. I'm talking all the material stuff. They don't have the connections, or have the connections, but not the material stuff. You get to have it all. So start looking for evidence of what is working and the things that are not. How are you going to shift yourself? How are you going to show up so that you can create the life that you want? The time is now. It is so freaking now. We can't blame anyone else anymore. It doesn't work. Can't blame the government. Can't blame the president. Can't blame your parents. Can't blame this. Can't blame that. Yes, you may not like the things that happen with your parents, or you may not like the president or the governor or whoever. You may not like them. You don't have to like them. But nobody ever, as you are an adult, gets to dictate how you live your life and what you get to create and what you get to manifest. No, take your power back. Take it back and start looking for evidence of what is working. All right, my name is Beth Osmer, and I will see you on the next video.